This episode is sponsored by the Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races in West Virginia. October entertainment includes Easton Corbin on the 11th and Dirty Honey on the 12th. Plus, don't miss a minute of football season. Join us in the sportsbook with a tailgate party on October 27th. Visit HollywoodCasino.com to see how you can reserve your package. Must be 21 to enter the casino floor and attend a show. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. The new documentary Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, opens widely across North America today. His son, Will Reeve, called in to share his childhood memories of his dad, his favorite scenes from the 1978 blockbuster Superman, and how his father's tragic paralysis inspired his heroic legacy of activism. Hey, Will Reeve, son of Christopher Reeve. Hey, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Hey, Jason, thanks for having me.
We're talking because the acclaimed new documentary, Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story, is opening a wider release in North America today, October 11th. I know it premiered at Sundance. I guess had a limited release like a couple weeks ago, but this is the big one where everyone can see it. So let's start, just from a film, and we can get into, some of your childhood memories and stuff in a minute. But like, just as this big film release, like, explain why this is so cool. Are we mixing like home movie footage with like sit down interviews with any of your father's co-stars or directors? I mean, is Donner in there? Is John Williams? What do we got?
You're basically exactly right. Yeah, we're so thrilled that Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, is hitting theaters nationwide and worldwide. In fact, right about now, it's a trip, and we're in the middle of playoff baseball right now, and I'm watching my Yankees, and then I see an ad for this documentary. It's a lot to take in, but we're so proud to be even associated with this. And as far as the content, that's right. We have a trove of home movies and other archives that we handed over to the filmmakers when we agreed to, when we authorized them to go on this journey with our family story a few years ago. And we meaning myself and my brother and sister, we each sat individually for interview and gave all of ourselves and shared all of our thoughts and feelings and memories. And then there are folks who knew my dad really well throughout the years in different contexts, who contributed and shared their stories and their perspectives. There's Glenn Close, Jeff Daniels, John Kerry. There's some archival footage of Dick Donner. Pierre Spengler, the original producer of Superman, who selected my dad for the role and changed his life and subsequently our lives by design or default rather. And it's a special story because it's about one man, and it's about my mother. It's about our family overall, but the themes explored are universal: love, compassion, courage, triumph over adversity, finding joy even in the hard times, becoming a hero in your own life. You don't have to be Superman to be a hero. That's all there, and we're proud of every bit of it.
It's so fantastic. I can't wait to see all these different interviews, and this is going to be like really insightful stuff. Well, I know we only have a short time, so I would like to map it out for you. At least hit, the actual Superman movie, and then maybe, sadly, the accident, and then end on a high note with the activism. So let's talk the actual 1978 Superman. I'll never forget watching it. And when you have different favorite scenes when you're at different points in your life. I'm sure you agree. Like when you're a kid, you probably like the reversing of the turning of the earth and all the crazy stuff. But then when I'm an adult, I really like the how well written like the rooftop scene is, the X-ray vision banter, and when he swoops Lois Lane off into the stars. You kind of appreciate that stuff. How about you though? When you were, I know you discovered it at a young age. Obviously, it came out long before you were born. But yeah, how about you? Like, did your favorite scenes sort of shift over the years?
I don't know. I'm not sure that I revisit Superman or really any of my dad's movies that much. I think I've seen them all at least once. But in our life at home, we we, led by our dad, placed no real weight on the fact that he was a movie star. He was just dad. he was the guy who made me eat my broccoli and finish my homework and clean my room and all that good stuff. But that doesn't mean we were any less proud of his accomplishments out in the public sphere. I think my favorite scene from Superman, and I know my siblings agree because it shows our dad's range as an actor, is a scene he's in. He's Clark Kent, but also Superman, obviously at the same time, and he's in Lois's apartment, and he's playing Clark, and he's about to tell her that he's Superman, and his posture changes, and he becomes Superman in front of your eyes, but then he balks and goes back to his Clark, and it all happens in one single take, one shot. And that showed how nuanced that role was, because Clark Kent is not just some guy in glasses. It's not Superman in glasses, right? It's a different person. And our dad treated that very seriously. I think that what made his Superman so great and has had it serve as the template for all the subsequent superhero movies was his commitment to taking it seriously and not making it camp or silly. And obviously playing that role changed his life, and he nailed it. So that's all in there too. That's all in the documentary. You get to see his original screen test when he hadn't worked out yet to become Superman. He was still skinny. He's got black shoe polish in his hair and armpit sweat going on. There's a bunch of behind the scenes stuff from Superman that all Superman fans will love, but what we're most proud of is that is a major part of his story, but that's not his entire story. And it's woven in so thoughtfully. It's not gratuitous Superman stuff. It serves a larger purpose, and it is making a broader point about what defines a hero and how your public voice can be used for good, and the ideals and the values that Superman espouses. It's a work of art.
That's fantastic. And thank you. I'm so glad you honed in on that little acting moment. It really shows the nuance, his actual acting skills, underneath all the big effects and everything. All right. And then, now we bring it down a second because the horse riding, the tragedy, the accident in 95, I believe it happened in Culpeper, Virginia. So in our area where you're talking to in the DC area, sadly, obviously you were a real little kid at that point, but do you remember, getting that word or visiting him in the hospital? And this is sort of the sad part, and then we'll end happy where, the activism, which is really his biggest legacy. But yeah, do you remember the actual sad moment?
Well, first I'll reframe it, because while it is, objectively sad, I don't remember much sadness in my life. Yeah, I've gone through some the accident, and then him dying, and then my mom dying. There's been tragedy, but there's been joy throughout all of that. And what I recall from way back when, almost 30 years ago, when he was injured, is not much. I was very young. He was injured 10 or 11 days before my third birthday. So I don't remember the specifics of the time, but I know that we came together as a family, and we were there to love each other and support each other and navigate this terrifying new unknown together. And that was the theme for the rest of our time together, is we've confronted challenges as a unit with hope and optimism and joy and conviction and love for one another. So that's what I recall from those times. And I credit my parents for creating that safe and nurturing environment for me to live a normal and fulfilling childhood and life overall.
Yeah, and your parents also created the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, brilliant activism and philanthropy, helping other, quadriplegics and folks struggling with similar things. So, and I know your dad wrote about it in Still Me, the autobiography, but his whole life kind of changed on a dime, but all in a way it changed the world and helped so many people. And do you truly believe, that activism and helping others is really your dad's biggest legacy? I mean, that's the whole point of this documentary, right? That's when he really became Superman, by helping so many other people. Do you agree?
Yeah, maybe. I think the final line of the film here, spoiler alert, is my dad's ultimate definition of a hero, which is a hero is an ordinary individual who finds the strength to persevere and endure in spite of overwhelming obstacles. And that defined his life. That is the Christopher Reeve story. That is the Dana Reeve story. And in many ways, that's our family story. And so a lasting legacy born out of that ideal is the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. We're a leading organization for spinal cord injury research and quality of life care for individuals affected by paralysis. It's very important to me and my siblings. We serve on the board. And as far as that being my dad's larger purpose or legacy, I think of my colleague at ABC News, Robin Roberts, who always says, make your mess your message. And the accident became my dad's mess or all of our mess in some way. But he turned it into his message. He became the face of a community that needed a face and needed a voice, needed representation, needed money to fund research and other advancements. And he changed the game in spinal cord injury research, and my mom changed the game in caregiver advocacy and awareness. And we're proud to continue that legacy today. That's a huge part of our lives and something we're very proud of.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. And God bless your dad and you and the whole family. Again, the new documentary is called Superman, Super/Man, the Christopher Reeve story. It is opening widely in North America today, October 11th. And if you want to make it a double feature, I'll also shout out that SAG Award-winning role in The Rear Window, the TV movie remake in the wheelchair, nominated for a Golden Globe. If you want to see some other Christopher Reeve roles that were great post-Superman, I always plug that too. But hey, thank you so much, Will. This was great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.